All right. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehakol neh b'dvaro. Hi, l'chaim, everybody. Okay. We are continuing with our Maimer Hasidic discourse. Mayim Rabim, lots of water. It's the Torah portion of the flood. And this is a verse from Shir Hashirim, from the Song of Songs, that powerful waters will not be able to to drown, to extinguish the love and the powerful floods or raging waters will not be able to drown the love of the soul. And as we explained, this is speaking about a livelihood, and that through the what's called tirdas parnasa, the painstaking effort of making a livelihood, we have lots of thoughts, lots of, the mind runs and how to be cunning, how to use our wisdom so we could make a livelihood, which we said to use your mind should be used for studying Torah primarily, and your heart for doing acts of loving kindness. And although you need to use your mind in the business that you're engaged in, a livelihood that you need to make, but it shouldn't be your real identity, shouldn't be the real you, shouldn't be, that's where you put your real self in, your real self, right? And even when you do that, the novelty over here is that the floodgates, of water, floodgates of thoughts and cunningness to earn a living, will not be able to cover up on the love of the soul. Won't be able to do that. Now, this novelty that the Mayim Rabim, the waters, the floodgates, and the flood, when here flooding is inside of you, that it's drowning you and being so engaged, so taken over by earning a living, right? That you're so overtaken by it. That's the key over here. So it's known that the root source, how could this overtake us? Aren't we greater than it? So how does it overtake us? The painstaking challenge of making a living, is because the root source of this is from the world of tohu, the world of confusion, which is a higher world than the world that our soul actually comes from. That's why it's called Maim Rabim, waters that are plenty, because the the plentiness, the a lot, right? Not just plenty, a lot of water, right? A lot of water showing again of the flow that's going in our head, that it consumes us in our minds. And if it's you're consumed in your mind, it's you're consumed in your heart, right? Um, so the novelty over here is that the root source, right? The root source of this is greater than the soul and its root source from the world of tikkun. The soul comes from the world of tikkun, the world of fixing, and these thoughts come from the world of tohu, which is a world of confusion. And that's why it creates a confusion in us, because it actually comes from a greater place than the root source of the soul. Nonetheless, nonetheless, that's it's not able to take the love of the soul and drown it, right? How often does it happen that we feel drowning in trying to make a livelihood and we're kind of losing ourselves? We're losing ourselves. Chaim. So, yet the love of your soul cannot be extinguished by it. And the reason for this is because in the Song of Songs, so before the verse that we've quoted, Ma'im Rabim verse, there's a verse that says, Rishbeha, Rishbe'esh, Shalaheves Yudke. It's flame, it's a fire of a flame of God. What does that mean? It means that the more deeper root of the soul and its love that's hidden in the soul actually comes from the essence of God. It doesn't come from a world. It doesn't come from a world. So it's not a thing. In the end, it's not even a thing. You know, this this love, this thing of love that I have, that's a thing. And often the love we have is based on things. Oh, she's so pretty. He's so courageous. He's so valiant, right? So it's a thing that you love about the person. This love we're talking about of the soul is a love of God that's not a thing. It just is. It just is. It's the core of it. And so it's beyond any world. So it's beyond any kind of parameter. So it's not a thing. I don't know if that's and it comes from the core essence of God. Therefore, it's beyond any world. It's beyond anything. And it's hidden though. It's deep within the soul, that love, that desire to be bound, not for something, just because that's the root source. That's my reality of the soul. And it's like a fire that's in a sewer. A sewer is a flintstone, not the 60s cartoon. No, it's in a flintstone has fire in it, but it's deep down in it. You have to rub hard to get it, right? So the metaphor over here is of the sewer, as it's called in Hebrew. That's the root source of the soul, is in this stone, this flintstone sewer that has fire in there, but it's so hidden. And this is about the power that we have to return our soul to its root source, to Tzur, which is the name Elohim, that we have that power. Now, the point. So that's why it's not going to, all of the challenges you have in making a livelihood, taking care of your family, taking care of yourself, right? It comes from a lofty place, that painstaking effort that's necessary to live, to have in order to live life. It cannot extinguish the love, even though you might be head over heels in it, right? Now, not only is this Maim Rabim, um, God forbid, not able to extinguish the love, but it's actually more than this. Extinguish the love means that the inherent love that my soul has, and remember, this love is not a thing, right? It's not pending on something. It doesn't come from a world, and a world is made up of things. It's part of the core essence of God. The essence of God, well, that's no thing. So it's not pending on a thing. So that's pretty lofty level of a love that it is of the core essence of God. But here's actually um, the core important point over here. So we're saying it will not extinguish that love. Oh, wow, that's powerful. But actually, it's more than that. Not only won't extinguish the love, right? But through the challenge that you have in making a livelihood, through the painstaking effort that you had, it's actually going to increase the love. Whoa, how's that? How do we get that? How do you increase the love of something, of a soul that's bound up in one with God beyond any world, that it's not pending on a thing? It just is. Right? So the fact that the soul now comes down into this world and it's enclosed in a body and has to go through all of the painstaking efforts of of earning a living so you could take care, pay your mortgage, put food on the table, have a wonderful, beautiful Shabbos, all those unbelievable things, right? You actually reach to a greater level than the soul with its inherent love and bound up with God, the way it's rooted in Atzmus, in the core essence of God. Actually, this is the whole purpose. The purpose isn't to bring you back to the same place, right? By the way, this parallels last week. Gan Eden, Garden of Eden. Wow, what a place to be. Imagine that There's just a divine consciousness. And they sin, they're kicked out. So we're not trying to get back to Gan Eden, meaning to the original place. We're trying to go to a greater place in Gan Eden. Right. Well, what's greater than a Gan Eden? Well, what we're achieving, a soul and a body, that we have to dig deep, and not like in Gan Eden, you have to dig deep at all. Everything was very apparent and obvious godliness and divine. But here we have to dig deep and we have to find it. Well, that's the ultimate purpose. So here's the Maim Rabim, the turbulent waters, the challenges, right, that we go through, that, as we said, will not extinguish the love, the natural latent love that there is within the soul. But in a deeper sense, this is the whole purpose, is that you should have this challenge, you should have this difficulty of a livelihood in order that you can actually increase the love. Now, how does that make sense exactly? How does it make sense you're going to increase something that is God-given? God makes my soul. I'm going to increase the love that He implanted in my soul. Like, doesn't make sense exactly. Doesn't make sense. Like what? We're going to do something greater than what God did? The answer is yes. There was a whole Farbrengen on Shabbos, plan A, plan B. Right? Gan Eden. Right? It's plan A, Garden of Eden. That's plan A. That's God's world. Can you get better than that? Yeah. Our world that we create. Plan B. So here it mirrors in the second parsha, the same idea. Plan A is the soul, the way it's rooted in its source, the way God made my soul, it's pure. And the way it's bound up, how could there be anything greater? Plan A is something greater. You know what that is? And that soul comes down to a body, into a material world. Now you need material things. You need things so you could live life. And the whole point in that is not to get back to the same place, that you shouldn't lose in the natural habitat of love that the soul has, but it actually should bring you to some place that's even greater, a greater love. How do we understand that? We have to wait. I thought we'd get to it today. Like, what does that mean exactly? It's words, and it's true. But how do we understand that? In what way is it going to be greater than what God gave us? So more to come. But a good Chodesh, everybody. We'll see you soon.